According to levels.fyi, in 2023 alone, around 70,000 tech employees have been laid off. And bear in mind, we're still in January. I'm recording this on January 28th, and this is the latest data as of recording. It might have changed by the time this video goes live or by the time it reaches you. In 2022, almost 160,000 of tech employees have been laid off as well. And companies that felt like safe havens before are now letting go of their employees, which begs a question. Is anywhere safe anymore? Can you have job security anywhere, or is it a thing of the past? The short answer is no. Your role can be eliminated, whether you are in a technical role or in a non-technical role. It feels like tech is changing, the tech industry is changing, and we're living through unprecedented time, and nobody can really predict what is going to happen. And I'm not here to debate whether some companies are doing it out of pure necessity because they simply cannot pay those employees, or whether some companies are doing it because it's convenient, because everybody is doing it, so it's convenient timing in terms of PR, and might as well jump on board and make the organization leaner. And yes, a lot of tech companies really do care about preserving their massive profits and keeping their shareholders happy. However, this video is not about that. Feel free to talk about that in the comments. I might jump in with some of my thoughts, but this video is not about that. I wanted to create this video to help people who feel out of control with the current job landscape situation and the economic situation, to help those people feel more in control over their lives and careers, to give them an exercise that will help them strategize moving forward, to help them feel like they have a choice and that they are in control, instead of going with the flow of current events and just allowing this whole thing to happen to them. So whether you're currently employed and are worried about your job security, whether you've been laid off, or if you've been searching for a job for a while now, like myself, and want to make sure that you know how to strategize and move forward, I'm going to share an exercise that will help you do that in this video. All right, so I think that was a good enough introduction for this exercise, so let's jump into what it is. And I'm talking about SWOT analysis here. This is an exercise that a lot of businesses use in order to evaluate where they stand right now and see where they can move, see areas of opportunity, see areas of growth, assess the areas of weaknesses, etc. It allows them to see a clear picture of the situation and the opportunities that lay in front of them, so therefore strategize in order to connect the dots, move forward, grow, etc. So we're going to do that for your career. So SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the whole point of the exercise is to outline all of those things, which then enables you to analyze the situation much better with much more information and create a strategy from that. For example, a company might be very strong on their product. The product is solid, it's great, and it's serving a real problem, it's solving a real problem in the market, etc. Or they could have a strength in their team. The team who is working for this organization is really strong, really talented, really motivated, etc. You see what I'm talking about with strength. A weakness could be, let's say, the company is dependent on one big client, and it has one big client and many other clients, but if that one client leaves, the company might suffer. So that's a weakness, dependence on this one client. Or another example of a weakness when it comes to, the company landscape could be, when you compare it to other competitors. Let's say that this company does not invest into research and development as much as their competitors do, and therefore, it has a weak spot there because the competitors have an advantage over them. I hope that makes sense. Now that we've seen some examples of those strengths and weaknesses, I'm sure you can kind of see how this enables you to take this data, take this information, and create a strategy on how to move forward, how to either make sure that you are using those strengths to the best of your abilities, or that you are working on those weaknesses, that you're focusing on addressing them. It's a really great exercise that I learned at university. I studied economics, management, and psychology, and this was part of my management course in my first year of university. But at some point, I realized that it could be a great exercise for my career, outlining my professional strength, my professional weaknesses, my professional opportunities, and threats. And that gave me incredible insight on how to move forward. And that is exactly what I want you to do right now. Even if you've done this exercise before, reevaluate the situation, because we are dynamic creatures. We're constantly evolving. We're constantly developing. This is an exercise that you need to do regularly for yourself. And now is a great time to do that because the industry seems to be shifting. So how do you do this exercise? It's up to you whether you use a pen and paper or one of those digital documents, up to you, whatever feels easiest. And you can either create an axis situation where you put strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, or you can just list them as categories. The format is not important. What's important is the content. So I want you to reflect on your strength, on your weaknesses, on your opportunities, and your threats. We'll go through examples of what it can be for you in your career in a second, but before we dive deeper into it, if you are having trouble reflecting and analyzing what those things are for you, ask some friends or trusted colleagues to help you identify those things for you, because it can help you see new things that you may have not thought about before in terms of strength and opportunities. We are our own biggest critics, so you're probably going to be much better at identifying your weaknesses, but sometimes you never know. People might surprise us with some very insightful information about you. Whenever I've done this exercise asking other people to help me identifying those things for myself, I've come out with new answers that I would not have thought before, because people see those patterns and you just might not recognize them. So it's always a good idea, even if you are having an easy time coming up with these, it's always a good idea to see what others think your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. Very good exercise from that standpoint. This whole process of reflecting and writing them down will help you get clarity of what opportunities can lay ahead of you. What should you focus on? What should you highlight? What should you build in terms of strength, like skills and experiences, etc.? What can you upskill in? What areas can you upskill? Maybe you could network and enter a different industry because you have an opportunity there, because you have some overlap. Or maybe there is a threat, something that you need to proactively protect yourself against. For example, a language that might be deprecated in your organization currently, and that's your main skill. So that is a threat. Now that we've talked about this, let's get into the different examples of potential strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for your professional self, just so that you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. So for example, your strengths could be you're incredibly creative. You are a great communicator and a relationship builder. Another example of a strength could be extreme expertise at X, be it a language, be it a platform, be it a technology, whatever you want, like the hard skills, the soft skills, those could be your strength. Now, weaknesses, pretty self-explanatory, right? But it's the opposite. What could you get better at? What are you lacking in? For example, maybe you don't have enough data analysis skills as other people who are at the same level in your industry. Like you can compare yourself to peers. You can think about what is not making you, what is the gap between who you are right now in terms of your skills and all of that stuff, and where you want to be in, let's say, a year, or the next level of your professional career ladder or whatever. You know what I mean? It could also be something that is a soft skill. So for example, not communicating your boundaries clearly, or your inability to say no when you need to say no, and overstretching yourself because you're overcommitting to things. Be very honest, brutally honest with yourself. What are your weaknesses and what are your strengths? Now, these things, strengths and weaknesses, they tend to be more internal. This is your internal qualities, internal things that, you can work on or you can highlight. Now we're moving on to things that are more external, opportunities, right? That's an external thing that you can go and get. Or a threat, that's an external thing that can happen to you. And a lot of the times they're interrelated with your strength and weaknesses. So they're interrelated with the other two internal categories, if that makes sense. For example, you might have an opportunity to build connections in a different industry. Maybe you have someone who is in that industry who can take you to an event where you can start mingling, or maybe you have been offered to give a talk in front of an audience in that industry and therefore gain credibility within that industry, build contacts, build your network in that industry, and therefore start migrating into that industry, or position yourself as an expert in that industry, or position yourself as an expert in your current industry because you know these people, they're organizing an event and you can speak there or something like that. This is an opportunity. An opportunity could also be, I have these skills, I can combine them and go for another career path, or I can get a promotion because I have this opportunity. Any opportunities that you have ahead of you. And then think about your threats. What are the threats to your professional success right now? For example, you are an expert in language X, programming language X. However, your industry is moving in a different direction, and so you don't know how long your expertise is going to be in high demand. So that is a threat. Or you are too dependent. Let's go back to the too dependent on something, because I think that's a great example. You are too dependent on a person who is, let's say, a mentor or a sponsor within your organization, and that person is thinking about leaving. Or that person, that person might not be in the company, in your company, advocating on your behalf very soon. So that is a threat to your success. So really think about all of those threats, and you can always go back to your strengths and weaknesses to see if those things are positioning you in the right way for the current market, or if they might be threats, or if they could be leading to opportunities. You never know, but those things are interrelated, so draw inspiration from both of them in order to complete this exercise. Now, this exercise might never be fully completed. You can always add more to it. However, do your best in just writing as much down as possible, asking your friends or trusted colleagues in order to complete it. And then just, take a good look at it and identify a strategy moving forward. What are you going to focus on? What skills are you going to build? What connections are you going to strengthen? What are the opportunities for you to grow and move forward? This exercise should give you clarity on how to grow and adapt. And because we are living through some unprecedented times, and we don't know where the tech industry is going because, Because of that, I highly recommend watching the industry news, and really following the money. Where are organizations and people, where are they investing? What areas, what industries, what skills do those areas need that really can uplift you and make you stand apart as a candidate? What skills will be in demand in the future? It is really important, I think, in moments of change, moments of shifts, to stay on top of things in order to adapt, in order to position yourself to succeed. And this exercise, SWOT analysis, will really help you identify how do you strategize, right? And that can be used in combination with industry knowledge of where's the industry going. And I cannot reiterate this enough. Repeat this exercise as often as you need to, as regularly as you need to, because it's a dynamic exercise. It's not something that's set in stone. It's not something like your birthstone that has been allocated to you at birth because you were born then, and etc. It's not your zodiac sign. It's something that is changing all the time. So you gotta stay on top of it. We can do this. I believe in us. It's going to be interesting few years, or maybe 1 year, who knows? But I know that as long as you are taking control over your career, you will stay ahead. So I really hope that this exercise helps. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this, if you've ever done SWOT analysis before, if you've ever heard of it, maybe from a professional standpoint. What are your thoughts? What are your takeaways from your video? Super interested to hear your opinion and thoughts. So leave them in the comments, and give this video a like if you liked it. Finally, send it to a friend who might be feeling uncertain right now, or a trusted colleague. You know, that trusted colleague, send it to them. Do the SWOT analysis together. Exchange strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. I think that we need to all work together in order to survive, adapt, etc. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun ride. But yeah, like this video and comment down below, because it really helps with the algorithm, really helps support my channel and spread my message further into the internet. And yeah, subscribe to this YouTube channel, because I will be staying on top of the situation, reporting back, and sharing how I'm upskilling, because of course I've done this exercise. That was one of the first things that I did once I came out of the fight or flight response that the Google layoffs put me in. So yeah, subscribe, like, share, all the above. Thank you. I appreciate you. We can also be friends on other social media. You can find me as Stereotype Breakers. Have a wonderful time of the day you're currently experiencing. Bye.